Hello, I'm Dr. Katherine Horton. This is now, I want to show you this. This is a shower of abuse being fired into my brain. This is incredibly unpleasant. This is now upstairs in the bedroom. You can see like the stuff that I had to, just look at this. The red light means the little measuring devices just cannot cope. My head is burning up. It really is so unpleasant. You can hear the pulsating. Just a second. And you can also see the measurement here. So you can see the actual baseline is at 0.02. But at the same time, there's a lot more going on here, indicated by the light. And then you have these flashes. And essentially my head is just burning up. So this is expedited total Zersetzung. It's even worse than at home in Switzerland. This is essentially every time I come near a window, it becomes unbearable. So one has to just keep away. But it's insane. So these shots from down here to the top, it's a factor 600. And meanwhile you can hear this. It is unbearable. It really is. And it really, really hurts. I can just feel it, and my head is basically being cooked on the inside. So the entire name of the game is to punch as many shots into my head as possible. You can see I had to sleep last night. This is a total mess, but I had to use essentially these. I ran out of aluminium, so I just had to last night in an emergency just put these there. I usually slide them together so that I've got some sort of protection towards the window over there. And then I'm using any sort of metal that I can find to shield myself. This is ridiculous. Essentially this is like a Second World War, you know, sort of protection, but for 21st century war, where our systems have gone so degenerate, they essentially just attack their own people. So you have to protect yourself against the 21st century war, against your own so-called military intelligence. Because they're so end state fucked in the head that on Christmas Day your brain is being shot to pieces at night here. And I mean literally I've got this baking tray here, and last night they started shooting at my kidney because for some reason my kidney at the moment is part of the Zersetzungs program. So in the end I had to sleep with this on my back, trying to block out the pain. This is Christmas Day 2016 in Germany. Can you believe it? Because I can't. I remember Christmas a year ago before this fucked up nightmare started. And now it is just hell. I was trying to have lunch with my family, and through the window I got shots into my head that made my head burn up. Really, it was agony. I can barely concentrate on what my family is saying because of these degenerate assaults. And then we were just sitting having tea together, and again, when I'm just sitting down, they do everything. Last night we just sat down to watch a film together, and my entire body was vibrated. You know, look at this. This is the 21st century here. Having to protect yourself against your own people inside the country because they're so fucking degenerate. And the old guys at the top must be either utterly incompetent or totally corrupt. Either way, if they don't get this under control within a week, they literally have to go, or else they're up for Nuremberg 2.0. It is that simple. Just look at this. This is Christmas 2016. And I had, on the 24th of December to the night of the 25th, I had my kidney again shot to pieces by degenerate fucks, and I have to use literally the thickest pen I can to try to block out the direct shots. And you can just see them here. You can just see these things going from just down there. I just have to hold it into the beam so that it hits my head, and then you can see the flashes being fired into my head to make my head burn up before I can go back to the court. Another thing that they also did earlier today, because they just don't know what the hell to do, I think they've got, the AI system has got some program on what they want to do, and when they're not vibrating my body and I'm shooting up my head on my kidney, they just torture me with my heart, and just like a switch they just turn it on and suddenly I've got heart pains. And it's very interesting because you can tell the program being systematically done, because if you have one complaint you don't have the other. It is done systematically in turn according to schedule, and these degenerates rely on the fact, or so they think, that it gets never back to them. But I'm sorry, what I have is not a normal neurological complaint. I talked to my neurologist several times over, and she's never heard anything like what I've described to her ever before in my life, or ever before in her life or her professional career. And that's because this is military technology. At the same time, the vast majority of victims all say the same stuff, independently from each other, and have been saying for years. We didn't even know about each other. Some of us are on the other side of the globe in America, some are in Europe, some are in Japan, and we all say the same stuff. And this means we are all on the same program. Look at this. Look at these fucking shots. On Christmas Day, there are a bunch of fucked up degenerates working for the BND, shooting people to pieces in their own home. How fucked is that? And essentially, these crimes have been reported to the police thousands of times in Germany, to the Verfassungsschutz thousands of times. And now we can go back, we can use the timestamps. We know when the letters were sent, so we know who ignored these calls for help. And we'll go back, and all of those men are up for Nuremberg 2.0, for crimes against humanity, and actively stopping their men from investigating this systematically. This is how serious this is. So look at every single flash here, and within a very short time we'll put together a lot of information. I was amazed what I uncovered within just 2 weeks of just contacting people. And everybody's coming online now. We have got all the statements. It's all out in the public. And now high-profile whistleblowers are working on this full time to have this uncovered. They are all working together. And there's absolutely no way this will be allowed to pass. So every single shot you see here goes onto the account of Dr. Bruno Karl. It's that simple. And the head of the Verfassungsschutz, and the head of the Bundeskriminalamt, to whom I've written now several times, and who refused to investigate. It is impossible that these people couldn't figure this out. And look at how they're shooting me to pieces. Look at that. And you can also see the red light here, meaning that this little device is totally challenged. It cannot take all the different frequencies that are being punched here. And this isn't normal. This is not my Wi-Fi. With a Wi-Fi, you cannot create this signal. It simply doesn't work. And I'm telling you, at the same time as these flashes are going, I've got intense pain in my head. It feels like burning up from the inside. So what this is the Zersetzungs program being run in Germany now publicly. And I urge you, I really urge you to write to Dr. Bruno Karl and let him know that this shit is not flying in the 21st century any longer. Because it will take us weeks to figure out how they're doing it, and we all know it is them who are doing it. And they forget that in the information networked society, information doesn't get lost. It might take some time to reach the right people, but once you know where to look, you can uncover stuff within seconds. And that's what we're on about. So any crime committed now, publicly, we can go back. We can go back next year, we can go back next month, we can go back next week. And we know it's them doing it. And if we can figure this out, they've got even more information than we have. So in court, standing up in court and claiming ignorance is simply not an option for the intelligence agencies. Because once it is on flaming YouTube, they have to know about it. And they will have had to have known about it for 10 years before then. It's that simple. So every death, every mutilation, every organ failure, everything will be recorded, and we'll use the date stamps, when they occurred, the frequency, will run statistical analysis, and with statistical analysis you can tell a lot. It is absolutely impossible that a victim will escape our attention. So this means every victim will be on their charge sheet at Nuremberg 2.0. Because for crimes against humanity, which is what these things are, the normal obstacles of law do not apply. It is that simple. It really is that simple. These are premeditated crimes against citizens, and conducted over weeks, over months, with a shift service. Every second is premeditated. They know the consequences, and they willingly mutilate people with military technology. Now this is off the charts. So I want you all to take your evidence. Do not despair. Do not listen to the stupid disinformation agents. And every time something happens to you, you go public. Look at this. This is the reality. Merry Christmas.